Hey guys, and welcome back to another live stream here in the shoe sanctuary. I'm not entirely sure where Beast is right now. Surely she should be here as the deputy shoe sheriff. God, it's quite hard to say that. Hope you've all had a fantastic day today. Looking forward to an interesting weekend. Slowly things are starting to get back to normal a little bit. I say slowly. I know certain places have still got quite severe restrictions in place. Fortunately here things are starting to get a little bit freer. Certainly a couple of weeks back where they allowed us to go out and exercise more than once a day. That's been a really very popular thing. Sadly though, I think people are taking that a little bit too literally. People are going sort of all over the place, but I think that's in the minority, let's hope. If you are watching, please head into the chat. It'll be great to see you there. Let me know where you're from. Let me know who's here. We got Rob Weatherall and Stevie76. Hey you guys, glad to see you. Hope you guys have had a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video earlier on. It was a real blast to make that one. I think over the last couple of hours, even more discounts have appeared on certain sites. I think Nike have got some stuff up now and discounted. And I think a lot of you guys over stateside have said to me that there's some huge sales going on now. We got Johan Eeps, hi there, how you doing? And Michael Sessler, he's in the Midwest US. And Mark Coco, I've got that right I think. Hi Mark, how you doing? Thanks for coming into the chat. And James Nash, how you doing? Calix from Houston, Texas in the chat. And Steve Whitty, evening, hope you're well. On run tonight saw a Ford Fiesta with 200 eggs on the back seat. 200 eggs! Crikey. Someone's going to make some big omelettes. Steve, that leads me on to the food of the evening, which tonight was a beautiful omelette. Mrs. EDDBUD really excelled tonight. Omelette with mushrooms, spinach, and some cheese. And there's more to be had once the live stream's over as well. I can have another set. You got Johan Lung, Somerset boy. I'm a Somerset boy through and through. I like driving me tractor with me combine harvester. Kev Burton, where's my Alphafly text? Oh no, Kev, did you not get a text? This is not good. Hopefully there'll be another run of those Alphaflies soon for you. DTD is CA, I guess, California. How are you doing? Certainly not California weather today here in Yeovil. It's been a bit overcast and windy. Mr. Van der Valt, hi Ed, how you doing buddy? Good to see you. And AD Orr, I'm doing well, good to see you. Do you fast? I guess you mean before a run, do I fast? I tend to work a little better if I've got something in there, maybe a piece of toast or something like that. A few days this week I've got up with the intention of getting out there really early, getting some miles in, and then the rest of the day I can just concentrate on doing other things like jobs around the house and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know what it is, I just seem to lack that motivation to get out really early. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll do that, but I tend to like to have something, even if it's just a piece of toast and maybe some weak tea or something like that in the morning before I go out on a run. Cool Vic, can you call me MPG? MPG, how you doing? MPG, I shall call you MPG. In North Carolina on the east coast of the US, awesome. Kev Burton has ordered himself some custom Pegasus 37s. Kev, I've got to tell you my story about my custom 37s. So I had an email today to say that they would be arriving. I mean, it still could happen. They have been, I think they dispatched them about 10 days ago. So they've been to China, they've been to South Korea, they've been to, where else? Anchorage, so in the US, and now they're in Germany. So they're slowly making their way over to me. Maybe one day I'll get them, I don't know. I really want to test out my hot rod Pegasus 37s, the customs. Kev, I'll be interested to see what you've come up with in terms of your custom Pegasus 37s. Stevie76 says his order is also delayed. I reckon there's a big pile of them somewhere, Stevie. They're just waiting to be delivered. And the UPS dude's probably just looking, going, how am I going to do this? How are we going to get all these boxes out? This is crazy. Let's just send them all over the world. Scott, what's going on? Scott, we've been eating omelettes, and we've been listening to Johnny Marr. I've been listening to Playland pretty much all week, actually. Loving this album. I think it's Dynamo. That track, guys. Dynamo is a superb tune. Johnny Marr, brilliant stuff. You would have seen this album actually on the thumbnail for the video today with the blue vinyl. Fantastic. Let's put you down there, Johnny. Love Johnny Marr. I got to meet him once. He was about here. He's really small little guy, but a wonderful guy. He talked to me for ages about guitars. He was asking me all the questions. I had loads of questions I wanted to ask him, but I didn't get a word in edgeways. The guy is just awesome. It's great when you meet one of your heroes in life and they don't just live up to your expectations, they're above that as well. So that's Johnny Marr for me. MPG is also in NC. Soupy Runs, hey Soupy, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Soupy Runs, what's your current favourite all-rounder shoe? Right, so you all know I like my all-rounder shoes. My current favourite all-rounder shoe, have I got it available to hand easily? I gotta say, this one's growing on me now. The Hyperion Tempo. I really am beginning to like this one. I've switched the laces out a few times, but I've gone back to the originals now. I'm just really liking the relatively light sort of nature of this shoe. But it's starting to get snappy now. The midsole's starting to kind of... It's not so firm. It doesn't feel anywhere near as firm as it was. So I'm liking the DNA flash stuff here. Can I get it in focus? No, it doesn't want to focus. Focus. Come on. There we go. So I'm really liking these now. They are a little pricey though, I would suggest. I think perhaps if they were to drop the price maybe by about 20 smackaroonies, I think that would probably do the trick. But in terms of comfort in the upper, chef kiss stuff. So that would be my all-rounder for all sorts of paces at the moment. I think they shouldn't have called it the Tempo, because I think people going, that's a Tempo shoe. I can't wear that shoe if I'm going to run slow. It's probably working against them a little bit. Who else have we got here? Simon Partridge, waiting for my custom pegs 37s too. Hopefully a quicker route than via Alaska. Yeah, I don't know why mine have come via there, Simon. It's really strange. I keep getting messages popping up on my phone saying they're in one place or in another. They've been all over the world, these shoes. I'm hoping that they live up to the huge expectation that I've now got for these shoes. I don't know if any shoe can live up to that. Daniel Angel is here. Good evening, sir. Soupy Runs, apologies for being a bit off topic. Nah, no worries, Soupy. We've got Cody Davis says hello from sunny and hot Central Florida. I bet it's pretty humid there. MPG says the US won't get the Alphafly until June the 6th. Everyone else gets them before us. Yeah, it's pretty weird. I will start talking about that a little bit now, and then we can do some more questions in a little while. But I was really surprised to see that Alphafly drop just come out of nowhere. It was just, there it was. In fact, I was doing some work on the laptop, and then I got a message come through and said, Alphafly's come out over here in the UK. And I just couldn't believe it. I think, my theory is that Saucony got in there before them, and it kind of forced their hand a little bit. I think that's what's occurred. I think Nike suddenly went, oh, hang on a minute, we're going to lose some sales here. Certain people are only going to go for one or the other with that shoe. I'm really keen to try it out against the Alphafly in fairness, but also against the Next Percent. I think we've still got two incredible shoes there. Can the Saucony live up to that? I'm seeing lots of people posting some fast miles in the Saucony, certainly. it's going to be quite a shoe for a different technique, I think. With this one, I found myself on the half marathon time trial last Sunday, it was just flinging me forward as long as I was hitting in that sweet spot. It's kind of like when you've got like a golf club and you just really meet that ball with the exact power, the exact pace, direction, everything. It just snaps, and that's kind of what you get with that shoe. I think perhaps with the Saucony it might be a little bit more forgiving, perhaps, if you're hitting in the midfoot and then rolling into your stride. With this one I was just throwing myself forwards. But the weird thing was I felt absolutely fine after like a half marathon distance. Literally my legs were fine, which is kind of like unnerving when you're just at home. I was just sort of rolling my legs out, doing some stretching, and there was no fatigue. It was kind of weird. So it'll be interesting to see whether other people got the same view, whether they feel that perhaps they're a little bit too geared up for that kind of pace. We shall see. Let's go through a couple of the questions. We got masses of stuff here today. Hi guys, it's amazing for you all to be here on a Friday night with the EDDBUD in the shoe sanctuary with the beast. Jeff's loving the coloured vinyl. Is cool. I did read somewhere, Jeff, that apparently coloured vinyl apparently is different qualities and they're not all the same. They don't all sound the same, apparently. I don't know whether that's kind of snake oil kind of stuff, but kind of interesting, though. Joe says, hi, Ed, and everybody else. Hi, Joe. It's good to see you. The FOD runner's here, Andy. It's good to see you, Andy. I hope you're having a great evening. Hope your family are all well and the little one's doing well. Daniel Malio says, hi, Ed. He's in from the lockdown in Madrid. Is that kind of easing a little bit now, Daniel? I hope so. You can get out there and get some miles under your belt. DTD ordered some Vaporfly Next Percent 3 weeks ago, but they got lost in FedEx. Oh no, nowhere to be found. Let's hope they can get you another pair, get them across to you. That's terrible. Kev Burton, was the half marathon a PB? Kev, I'm not. I think it was probably a PB. I was just kind of getting out there to see what I could do, really, in terms of training, with my own little water station and stuff. If I chopped off the probably minute or so I stopped at the water station, getting rid of the ants off of my gels and my water bottle, I'd suggest, yeah, it probably was a PB for me. So I had no choice there, though. I didn't have any crew or anything. Miss EDDBUD was asleep. Beast is now asleep on the floor in the shoe sanctuary, completely out of it. Yep. So I think it was probably a PB. Joe Mullin, I have a 24 kilometers run next week. Hadn't used anything but Infinity for months. Should I use them or my Zoom Fly? Kind of aching for variety, but don't want to stay safe. Well, that's a good question, Joe. What I would suggest is that I would take them out on a shorter pace run just to see how you feel with them. If they're feeling good, maybe intersperse some slower miles in there as well and see how they feel. If you've been running in the Infinity and then you're going to go across the Zoom Fly, there's going to be quite a bit of a difference there. So that's what I would suggest. Just be really careful, buddy. We don't want you getting injured. That'll be the last thing we would want. Samantha Jenkins is here. Hello, Ed. Hi, Samantha. Good to see you. I've been chatting with Samantha in the comments. Glenn, he says, now that I have the Alphafly, do you think the next percent will be will become redundant for a future half? I'm not going to tell you my full views on the Alphafly just yet because I want to get some more miles into them. But I think they're going to wear down quicker than the next percent. You know, I did a lot of research in terms of the next percent, getting lots of images, lots of people's views and opinions on that shoe over a considerable amount of miles. And you can all see that shoe really holds up over time, over the miles. We have people doing 200, 300, 400, 500 miles in the next percents and they were still looking really good. I've got to worry that the Alphafly is going to wear out in the forefoot a little bit faster. That's my worry right now. So Samantha's waiting for pre-ordered Alphaflies. Awesome. I bet you can't wait to get your hands on those. I believe you. Believe you me, when you get them out of the box, you'll be amazed at the quality actually of the upper. I just find it fantastic. It's a strange sensation when you first put the shoe on. It really is, but you will enjoy them undoubtedly. MPG, I tried the Peg Turbo 2s, but I didn't really like them. The upper really caused pain in my feet. I found the Pegasus Turbo 2s to be a really comfortable shoe. One which I still get out the box and get some miles in these days. So it's sad those didn't work out for you. We've got Christopher Colangelo, finding it tough to pull trigger on these new complete shoes. Given they were all 160, you can't afford 3 or 4 race shoes. Lean towards New Balance Fuel Cell RC. That's certainly one I want to try out. I've really enjoyed the TC. That's been a great shoe for me, so I'm really looking forward to trying out the RC when it does come out. Need to retire the pegs by the time you get them. Yeah, who knows when those Pegasus 37s are going to arrive, Daniel. Mr. Vanderbilt says, I have heard that Brooks holds nearly 30% of the market share in the States. Interesting. I think Brooks are pretty big in the States. If any of you are stateside, is that a thing? Are Brooks really prevalent over there? A lot of people wear them here, I know, in the UK. It's kind of like Brooks and Asics. They're the big names. I like Asics shoes. I just think that they need to perhaps temper down the uppers a little bit. They're still really heavy to me. I kind of don't see why we need such heavy, hard wearing uppers on those shoes. Certainly not for me anyway. I'm quite a slight fellow. I don't weigh a huge amount in terms of my height, but I go really easy on uppers. They don't tend to fall apart. The midsoles go before anything. Gonza says he's really disappointed with Nike. He's a member but didn't get a message. Yeah, I heard reports that you had to have done a certain number of miles in the Run Club app, but I don't really use that app at all. I use my Apple Watch, I sync that to Strava, and that's me done. I don't tend to mess about with too much else. So I don't know. I did get a message really early in the day, and I could have gone and bought another pair, but I don't need another pair of those, not right now. But that's sad you didn't get a message. Scott received his 37s, black and green colourway. Kind of heavy, 11.5 ounces for a size 12. US. So that'll be the same weight as mine. I've got the size 11 UK, so they'll be the same. 11.5 ounces. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. Interesting. I kind of was worried about that, you know. There's some really nice light shoes at the moment. I've been doing some speed work. I've been using the Takumi Sen. This thing only weighs 215 grams, so that's way under. Jeff's, I'm going to wait until at least sure my November marathon is actually going to happen before you go for it. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, Jeff. Stevie76, by the time your Pegasus 37 they'll reach the 38. It could happen. Samantha Jenkins, you're mentioning the Alphafly drop made me check online here in China. Well, that's great. I'm glad that you managed to secure a pair, Samantha. That's fantastic news. I know that you're really keen on those. Jeff, Brooks are popular in and have been for a long time in the US. Okay, so yeah, that goes along with what you said, Mr. Vanderbilt. MPG, I'm surprised that Nike isn't releasing the training version of the Alphafly until the fall. Yeah, it does seem odd. It does seem odd. I do remember that kind of training version, the Tempo Next percent, they did mention that it's not actually race certified, is it? So, which seems bizarre. You can race in the top line shoe, but you can't train in the one just below. That's going to put people off, unless they're making some modifications to it, maybe. It could be that Nike are doing that. Oh, I wet my whistle a little bit. Okay. Goots runs. I missed it. When are they dropping again? I don't know. That was a total surprise drop. It just took everybody by surprise with that one. I think the initial messages came through, must have been about 11 o'clock, 11 UK time in the morning. Roadrunner Review says, what's up, Ed? I'm doing well from Kentucky. Thanks for heading into the chat. Good to see you. Paul Kane, he pre-registered for the Alphafly and with the UK app but didn't get a notification. Yeah, it makes me wonder whether that drop was like just an ad hoc kind of thing, or the notification will be on the full release. Because I can't believe that was a full release. There were very few pairs, it seems, available at all. Kev Burton says, epic, well done, dude. Thanks, buddy. I gave it my best shot. Roadrunner Reviews, just received my Asics Novablast. Love the lightweight feel. Cannot wait until they're Treus. I'm certainly keen to try out the Novablast. I think down the line, down the road. Sorry. Mr. Van Valt, didn't Nike had to make some changes? Yeah, well, I don't know if they made changes to the Alphafly. I think it was kind of what it was. And they, it just so happened that they were within the guidelines that they put out. But I think midsoles are they've reached that point now where they're not gonna get too much thicker. Don't know what's gonna happen with that Adidas one though that you've probably all seen on Instagram. That one is huge. That's ABBA style 70s glam rock stuff. Daniel Malio says, yes, things are better now, so he can go out to exercise again during the morning and evening. But he's hurt his knee the third time. Oh no. So he's got to wait until... Oh no, that's bad news. Make sure you do rest up, Daniel, and get that knee back in full working 100% Bristol fashion. If you're in America, that kind of means... I think it was something to do with ships. The ships had to be prepared in a certain way before they'd... Oh, I don't know. Kev Burton, you might know what it means. I'm not entirely sure, but... Back says, hi Ed, lots of work today, so just listening and saying hey. Hey Back, thanks for coming in on the chat. Can you buy me a pair of twos on the cheap? Yeah, they're really cheap again. That brings me to the Energy 2. I think it was like 54 pounds, something like that. I don't know how they can even make it for that. Surely they're just losing money on them. I just don't get it. I'm sure there's someone at Reebok that's just like going, yeah, let's have a sale, let's go. Maybe they're trying to cash in on the fact that Nike just can't seem to deliver shoes to people right now. I know a lot of people are going for Reeboks because they're actually available. We can actually buy them and they deliver them the next day. Yeah, don't do that. If you buy some Pegasus 37 customs, they're going to take a long time to turn up, believe me. Cody says, are my Alphaflys true to size? Right, so... with the next percent, I went for a size 11, and they're fine. They fit just fine, but I have to wear quite a thin sock. Now with the Ekidans, I went for an 11.5, so 11.5 UK, and that just gives a tiny bit extra room. I can wear any sock with that shoe, and it's absolutely perfect in terms of the fit. No heel slippage or anything like that. With these, I found that that's kind of like the case. It's almost like they're an 11.5, but an 11. The fit's perfect. I wore my Nike racing socks, and it's just loads of great toe room. Literally, I just took them off my feet, and they felt fine. Now, you know, when you guys run a race, at the end of the race, you just want to get your shoes off. I just wandered round in them. They feel so good afterwards. So I would go. Bear in mind, my foot's just sort of between that and an 11 and an 11.5. I probably go true to size with these. I don't think you need to go down or anything like that. I really don't. Paul Kane says Nike Tempo is more than 40mm stack height in an 8.5. Don't think it will matter for races other than elite runners. Yeah, I don't think for us non-elites it's gonna matter. It's not gonna make any difference. The Alphafly might keep its bounce longer than the next percent. Well, I do remember reading somewhere that the whole reason behind using the pods in the sort of forefoot area here was because at some point the Zoom X does start to bottom out. It's such a soft foam. I think round about 18, 19 miles or whatever, it just feels like it's starting to bottom out. Perhaps for some people, I guess if you're using more of the rest of the outsole and the midsole, then it probably doesn't do that. But I think when you're trying to push the pace a huge amount, it's probably the case that it starts to bottom out a little bit. So maybe they will hold up a little better over distance and they won't start to bottom out. Mr. Jemson says, hello, Beard and Beast. Beast is still asleep. Joe says he's more keen in the tempo over the Alpha. Prefer the look. Yeah, I wasn't sure about the look of these when I first got them, but now I think they look kind of awesome. I like the colourway. It reminds me of flies. Like, I know it's a weird thing to say, but it's this kind of iridescent sort of stuff here, and also reminds me of after dinner mints. You know, after eights they're called. I love those. I wish I had some of those now. Should have bought some at the shop when I went to the shop earlier. They're like very thin chocolate, like little wafers with mint inside them, like a really thin spreading of mint. Oh, beautiful stuff. MPG says they have 3 pairs of Vaporfly Next Percent and none of them lasted 200 miles. Big run over 2 meters. I think smaller runners will be able to get more. Yeah, mine held up pretty well. All the way about in the strange UK weighing measurement of stones. I'm at 11.5 stone. Pods in the Alphafly may lead to longer life with the energy return intact. I think you're probably right, Samantha. May get tatty looking faster than the next. I'm not sure, they're holding up pretty well, you know. They're looking pretty good. I used mine on that time trial, and that was across a few different terrains as well, so looking pretty good. Kev says he was a Brooks man for Nike, but I've lost him now. But he loves his Nikes now. He certainly does. He's got a lot of Nikes, that man. Let's see what else we got here. So Joe says you had to have 15,000 kilometers plus logged in the Nike app to get an invite. I didn't have anywhere near that, Joe, and I still got an invite for those. Maybe they were being kind to me or something. Scoots runs, were these just released in the UK? Yes, but only a very limited stock of them. There was only a few. Kev says, hey, her words, my wife has a big lady, loves her Asics and last ages. Yep, certainly Asics hold up over time. I don't think there's a shoe with better outsole rubber than Asics. That Asics high abrasion rubber, that stuff is serious. That's gonna be around in thousands of years, I reckon. People will find like an Asics shoe and they'll be like, what is this rubber? What is this strange compound that never ever perishes? Joe says, sorry, can't donate again today. I'll make sure to donate again. Oh, buddy, I appreciate it from last time. I really do. Thank you, Joe. Simon, I got the Alphafly message. Was in the middle of a Zoom meeting. No. Now eagerly anticipating them to come out. MPG abandoned the Peg Turbo 2s. Oh. MPG, Kev Burton is a serious Peg Turbo enthusiast. That man is the master of the turbos. Stevie76 is heavy daily trainers, resilience training. Yeah, resistance training. I think you're right. A little bit of heavy is good sometimes, Stevie. Then when you put on your racing shoes, you feel like you're just air and you can fly. I think sometimes it is a good thing. I found not all of my miles load to the Nike app. I found that in the past, Kev. Yeah, I did a load of miles once and they didn't seem to acknowledge them. I was a bit cheesed off about that. What size do you wear in Hoka's and what is the counterpart in Nike? So in Hoka's, I tend to go up a half size, N30. So I'll go for an 11.5, which still tends to equal a US 12. So think it's some weird sizing disparity there. Rob says his message from Nike didn't come through till 2, and by that time most sizes had gone. Oh, buddy, it's not good. Simon says he's heard the main release for the Alphafly is going to be the 2nd of June. So let's hope that that is the case. I think Saucony have forced their hand with this one, guys. I really do. They probably sat there and they weren't expecting it. They weren't expecting that Nike were going to launch that shoe just like that. So I think it surprised them a little bit, and I think they've had to do this as a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. James Nash says he wore the Pegasus Turbo 1 outsole out quick. I know Kev's got a pair of those. Kev, you can probably let him know in the chat. You've probably done what? There was one that had 400 miles, was it? And it was still looking pretty good. So that's kind of amazing. I'm just going to do one thing, guys, if I can, which is lift up this laptop. If only I had another shoebox handy somewhere that I can utilise. Let's see if we can do this without any issues. That's a little bit better there. Don't have to keep looking down quite so much now. Kev's not sure about Bristol fashion. I'll figure it out. Soupy Run says 29 for his Reebok Float Ride Energies. Yeah, I got mine for 29 a few weeks back when they pushed those out. Roadrunner Review says going to try out some Reeboks. Yeah. Woo! Let's have a Chris Akabusi. Awooga. You've got to try them out. I think they're great value. These Energies aren't the best looking shoe, but believe me, the cushion is lovely. They're holding up well. Good on all sorts of different terrains. Just got to look past the cover of the book, and there's some good content there, you know. Timothy Betts had the same problems with the Endorphin Pro in the US. For the second time I got a random email from Saucony, then they were available, and by the time I got to the website they were gone. Not good. Not good, Timothy. Are they worth $275 US? Are these shoes worth $275 US? What I'd say is, are the next percent worth $240 or $240? I think it's in the eye of the beholder. I look at these things as almost like pieces of art, like in a gallery or something. And to me, certainly this one's worth that. It is a ridiculously good shoe in terms of pace and in terms of that minimising fatigue. It really is. Joe is here. How are you doing? Training is going well. What are we at this week? Up to now 33 miles. So I'm going to probably do another 7 in the morning. Just easy pace, nothing too crazy. And then probably something a bit at pace on Sunday, 10 miles, so get myself up to 50 miles for the week. So keeping it nice and consistent. Catching up here with some of the chat. So Kevin Scott says Benedict's a better mince. I think After Eight's my favourite over than Benedict's. A bit too I don't like the crunchiness of the Benedict's. Stevie says Andes mint. I'm not sure. What do you mean by this, Stevie? Mr. Van der Veld was wondering with Adidas, what Adidas plan is with Reebok. Maybe testing outlet for their R&D. Yeah, it does seem weird, you know, because the shoes are so different. Reebok and Adidas stuff is just so different. They're on totally different sort of paths with those. So it does make you wonder whether they're kind of testing things out with Reebok and then implementing them into Adidas shoes. At the moment, I'm just confused by Adidas shoes. There's so many weird, like, variants. Like there's the SL20, there's the Adios 5, you've got the RC2. There's the Boston series really confuses me. I'm like, what's the difference between this and the Adios 5? and then the RC. I don't know. Reebok. Kevin says Reebok are the unruly cousin who will do what they want, just throws running shoes at you. Roadrunner reviews. So the Asics high abrasion rubber will be floating around space when we're all gone. It will. There'll just be an Asics logo and some high abrasion rubber just drifting around, and there'll be these big meetings of all the countries trying to figure out how they're going to like get all this rubber together and what they're going to do with it. Everybody that's in the chat, please hit that like button for me. It really does help to push us up the ratings a little bit, get the channel out there to a few more people. Samantha Jenkins says her husband one time had a pair of Brooks Beasts. Awesome. They weighed about 500 grams. I'll tell you what, this cat here probably weighs a bit more than that. Hang on. Beast. The Beast. How you doing, Beast? You okay? I think you weigh a bit more than 500 grams in fairness, Beast. You're a pretty heavy creature. You're safe down there, Beast. Keep an eye out for anyone coming in and stealing the shoes. Where did I get my Alphaflies? MPG asks. There was a runner at the trail, not the trail, the marathon trial in the US back in Feb. They were given to them and they didn't want them. So I sent them a message and we came to an agreement. So I managed to get them, which was cool. They hadn't worn them at all. They were literally in perfect condition. I've got to be honest, guys, these still smell okay. They still smell good. They still smell like they've just come out of the box. How is this possible? How is this possible? We got some more questions here. Kevin Scott says the amount of plugging Reebok you are doing, you can think you're going to get a sponsorship deal. I don't know, maybe. Reebok, if you're listening. I've certainly enjoyed your shoes. I think they're undervalued. I think they're great value for money. I think you need to send me more shoes so I can test them out for you. I'll get out there and grind them down and give the people my honest opinions. Alphafly or Endorphin Pro? Adam, I cannot answer that one until I've got that Endorphin Pro and tried out the Speed Roll technology. What a name. Speed Roll. It's basically like tensile air versus speed roll. It's going to be a big face-off. I don't know. We'll see. Matthew Schmidt, how do I get your shoe budget? I just save a lot of cash and just work super hard, doing all sorts of things. Most of my music money goes into that as well, and I just look out for good deals a lot of the time as well. I rarely pay full price on a shoe ever. You can always get a deal if you keep your eyes open. Mariam Osman, hello. How you doing? Thanks for coming to the chat, Mariam. Where do you think Nike will start taking pre-orders for the Alphafly? My husband loves watching your videos from Pakistan. Awesome. I don't know. Hopefully there'll be some sort of pre-order thing, so it won't just be this mad clamour when they release them. But I don't know yet. One of the viewers said they thinks maybe the 2nd of June possibly for a release, so we shall have to see. So keep your eyes open for when they do come out. Timothy Betts must say, I'm interested in Nike shoes, but I'm confused. Alphaflies, Vaporflies, Next Percent, 4%, are these part of the same line? So all of those shoes, Timothy, use the Pegasus or Pegasus midsole foam, which is really, really soft, really squashy, loads of energy return. But they implement them in different ways. All of those shoes have got a carbon plate within the midsole. I think that carbon plate's really there to provide some stability because that midsole foam is so squashy. The Alphafly does use some tensile air pods here. You can see them better here actually. Don't know if I can squish them enough so that you can kind of see them squeeze down like that. So that's the kind of new innovation they've put it. It's not a new innovation, it's been around since the Tailwind back in the 70s, but they've placed those into the forefoot to try and stop that foam from bottoming out after a certain time. So that is the general gist of it in 1 minute. Tim Gross, Tim, I thank you for liking the video. Please, everybody, hit that like button in the live stream. That will help to push us up the charts to the topmost of the popmost. Joe, did you see... Oh, I like this. Hang on, Joe. He asked, did I see Jakob Ingebrigtsen 5K national record? I did. I watched that. It was awesome. It was so amazing. It was so amazing to watch people running. I know there were only like five of them or whatever, but it was incredible. What pace that guy has got. Oh my. Watching his form, it's just so consistent. It was almost mesmerising. And then to see him really put the hammer down at the end as well. His brother, I think his brother's about 10 years older than him. Henrik. Yeah, he's about 10 years older, and he just left him in the dust. But what a runner that guy is. Very excited to see that. Mr. Van der Vel, Ed, why don't you tell us who your favourite athletes are? That's a good question. Favourite athletes, Charlotte Purgey. I think she is fantastic. A great runner, such a wonderful ambassador for the sport over here in the UK. She's always someone I like to watch when the marathons are on, whenever there's any events on and Charlotte's there. I love watching her run. She's probably one of my favourite athletes, I think. Oh, we all love Kipchoge, don't we? But one of my real favourites is Jared Ward. Jared's obviously a ambassador for Saucony, but he's also a university lecturer, and he does a lot of statistical analysis on running, pacing and things like that. So they're my favourites, I think. Probably Jared Ward and Charlotte Purgey. Kevin Scott says, Ed, you need to buy the Boston, the SL20 in the... Oh no, I want to try the Boston, but I know, Kevin, if I buy the Boston 8, I know the next day the Boston 9 will come out, right? That's just the way things work. Mr. Jemison, Beast always seemed like he just finished a marathon. Well, Beast is a she. Originally, Beast was going to be called Chelsea, but I couldn't call my cat Chelsea, being an Arsenal fan. So yeah, once I called her a mini Beast when she was like a little kitten, and then it just stuck. That was it, Beast. Tim Gross says he had some Reebok racing flats years ago, which he liked. Tim, you need to try out some Reeboks now. Get yourself a pair of the Energy 2s or the Run Fast 2s. I think you'll enjoy them, I really do. Mariam says, how many kilometres do the Next Percent last, and how many kilometres will the Alphafly last? At the moment, Mariam, I've only got 40 miles into the Alphaflys. I want to try and take them up to 100 miles before I do any sort of real review. I think I owe it to the viewers to do a proper review on that one. I don't think people can do a review and say how great a shoe is, really, or how poor a shoe is, just after a few miles. I like to really go through the whole story of the shoe. It's like with the Novablast recently. Got that shoe, the first run, I really enjoyed running at pace in that shoe. It was a really exciting, exhilarating shoe. And then when I started running at slower paces, they really didn't feel that good at all. So as time's gone on with that shoe, and I think I'm up to about 40 miles in those now, they feel totally different. The midsole's changed, its characteristics, a bit of a chameleon type shoe. It's kind of changing its characteristics and attributes as time goes by. So I owe it to you guys to put some more miles into those. In terms of the Next Percent, I can see those lasting, depending on your foot strike, people get 300-400 miles out of those. I really think you can. They're way more durable than the Vaporfly 4% or the 4% Flyknit. I think Tim will agree with me as well. Tim Gross, go and check his channel out, guys, if he's here, and also the Forester Dean runner, Andy, if he's still here. Go and check their channels out. Fantastic YouTubers. There's so many great YouTubers out there at the moment in terms of running shoes and running content. It's such a wonderful time at the moment. We've got Kafuzi, Seth, Jameson Michael. I'll tell you one guy I really love though, doesn't just do running shoes, is Foamer Simpson. If you like sneakers, that's a great channel. I love Foamer Simpson. Beast looks so sleepy. Beast is always sleepy, Samantha. It's because she's eating too much food. That's the problem with Beast. We're having to limit the food a little bit. Stevie76 says spring roll. Yeah, I think they should release a Nike and Saucony dual shoe, the spring roll. That would be good. Kevin Scott saying to Tim Gross he should try out the Run Fast Pro. Yeah, this is the thing. I do feel for you sometimes, Tim, because he always needs a slightly larger size. The Brooks Beast 18 was 377 grams in a size 9. Wow. I think, Chris, you'd need some sort of suitcase to take them to any race or anything. I don't know if you could race in that, could you? It'd just be like wearing concrete. Samantha Jenkins bought a couple of pairs of Next Percent back in December in Japan and got a tax refund. The benefits of shopping in Japan as a non-Japanese citizen. Wow, I didn't know that was a thing. So Kev and Tim are talking a little bit about sizing of Reeboks, the fact they don't do the bigger ones. Yeah, so Joe says the brothers were wearing Alphaflys at that 5k one. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It just goes to show that for a 5k race, that shoe can still do the business. You see, what do you reckon? Maybe a 5k time trial then on Sunday? Maybe not Sunday. Maybe not Sunday. Maybe I'll do it Tuesday. I'll give myself a little day on Monday to recover, and then I'll hit it on Tuesday morning when the trail is quiet and there's no one out there, and I'll try a 5k time trial. I will tell you now though, Joe, it won't be anywhere near as quick as those two guys. They are lightning. Joe says Charlotte is one of the only female athletes I've seen such a heavy heel strike. Is it Bridget Kosgei as well? They do, but I'll tell you what, Charlotte Purdue, she can move. What a superb pace. Beast is a she. Beast is a she. She is a she. Beast doesn't really like the other cat in the house, which is Mildred. They don't really get on that well. Beast is the master of the house. Even the dog is scared of Beast. Tim Gross, his first Next percent got to 259 miles. That's a pretty good total, I think, for a race shoe that's supposed to be relatively fragile. Daniel's a big fan of Charlotte Purdue too. Great athlete, but she seems like a nice person. She does seem like a genuinely really pleasant person as well. She just really seems to enjoy what she does. There are athletes, I'm sure you'll all agree, that they seem quite uptight and stressed by it. She just seems to really enjoy the whole process, the training and the races. She just seems to really thrive in those environments. Mr. Van der Valt says, imagine Prefontaine if he had the tech. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, it does make you wonder if those guys had some of the shoes that we have now, some of the tech, some of the training and the know-how and the nutrition as well. They would have produced incredible results, I think. Carlos, hey Carlos, he's getting the Zoomfly Flyknit. Is it good for long distance? Oh yes, the Zoomfly Flyknit is still, there's a little place in my heart for that shoe, always. I feel that was such a better shoe than the Zoomfly 3. I know I beat up on that shoe all the time. It wasn't a bad shoe, I just didn't work for me, which is why I'm a little bit worried about the Pegasus 37, because there's lots of things about that shoe that remind me of the midsole of the Zoomfly 3. But I'm trying not to let that taint my views about that one. So in terms of the Zoomfly Flyknit, yes, you can do long distance in that, no problem at all. It's a great shoe, really great shoe, and they can pick them up for really low prices these days. Joe says, Ed, would you say the Nike Infinity React would be a good purchase for daily running? Yes, absolutely, 100% Beast certified. That shoe is great for daily training. I did some faster miles in it, I did some slow miles in it. It just always felt good at whatever pace I wanted to try and go at. It is a little bit of a heavier shoe. There's a bit more midsole there, and you're not going to be able to push intervals or anything like that. But if you want to do some tempo work, no problem. So yeah, I would go for it. Guys, do any new people in the chat, do hit that like button. It does help to push the video out to some more people. It really does help. I really appreciate all of you coming in tonight. We've got about, we'll do another 8 or so minutes, guys. I don't want to sort of cross into Kafuzi's live stream time too much. I have a huge amount of respect for that man. He is one of the most awesome guys out there, I'll tell you that now, Kafuzi. He really is an inspiration to me, and I know to all of you. So don't want to go into his time too much. Daniel, sir, you should invite Charlotte one day to do a live or video with you. Ah, well, I may well have done that. Let's hope that kind of comes off. Tim Gross did a mile time trial and under minute sprints in the next percent. Yeah, I think it's a pretty versatile shoe. Unless you're going to go super slow, I think it's a very versatile shoe. The way Tuesday sounded to me like Shoesday. Ah. every day is Shoes Day here in the shoe sanctuary. Do you know when the Endorphin Speed will be launched? Says Ruben. I do not know. Guys, have you heard any information about that? I've been scouring around looking for information about the Endorphin Speed, but I found nothing in terms of release date yet. It seems pretty quiet. Joe says he's got enough money saved up for the Alphafly, just waiting. Keep your finger on the button ready, Joe, when they get released. Stevie says a Beast versus Mildred. Yeah, I mean, Beast is probably better over a longer distance. It's got more resilience, perhaps. She'd be sort of slower for maybe the marathon, where Mildred is more maybe 10k specialist, I would suggest. That's just completely absurd, but it's kind of funny, right? Kev Burton says, I've done 150 in his new next percent and still love the Kev Flyknit. Oh, yeah, guys. If you don't know, Kev Burton has got a pair of the custom Nike by You next percents, but with the Flyknit upper. You should ask him some questions about it. That shoe, I remember when I first saw it, it's just like, it's like, it really is a beautiful thing. It really is. It reminds me of the red ones that Kipchoge wore in the Berlin Marathon some years back. A really beautiful thing. Ask him some questions about it, because, you know, Kev will just, he'll be in his element, just answering questions about it. Tim Gross, need to be polite about the Zoomfly 3, but hey, it was awful. It just didn't work for me, Tim. It just kind of, it was, I hoped it would be like this better version of the Zoomfly Flyknit. And it just wasn't. It just felt like I was putting a wetsuit on my feet, and with some added concrete and some Philadelphia cheese underneath my foot. That's kind of what it felt like. Edbud, Samantha Harrison is the next major talent in UK female runners. She's super young and already smashing it. So wow. Cool. I'll have to check Samantha Harrison out, Joe. That's a great time. What a super time. 71 minutes for the half. What's your mile PR? Mile PR. I think I clocked like just under 6 minutes. Like, I didn't look good at the end. Carlos, I did not look good. I needed some, you know, some sustenance and some water. And just to generally be left to sort of writhe around on the floor for a while, but yeah, just under 6 minutes. My poor old legs. That's about as much as I could probably do. Gonza says he's avoided the Zoomfly because they're too heavy for workouts. The Zoomfly Flyknit just didn't feel that heavy to me. It didn't feel as bad. Graham House, hey Bud, what's your take on the Strava changes? From what I can see, they've only blocked out a couple of things for you know, the free non-subscription service, which is you know, I can kind of understand that. why they've had to do that. I think it makes it clearer as to what you get and what you don't get now. It was a bit confusing where they had these 3 different packs and stuff like that. So I can kind of see why they've done it. Next percent versus 4% versus Alphafly. I think I did a video on that a little while back. I might revisit that at some point. Now I've got some more miles in the Alphafly and my view is a little clearer. So that's a good suggestion. Rob says he's done 290k in his next percent and they're still going strong. Using more, no point keeping them for races. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm thinking. You know, use the stuff, enjoy what we have. It's I can understand if someone spent a lot of cash, they've saved up for a race shoe like that, and they don't want to destroy it, thinking down the line, you know, they can't get another one. I think it's a bit like the really nice basketball boots I had, you know, when I was 9 years old, and I didn't want to wear them outside because I'd mess them up, but then I just grew out of them. So I don't really want to sort of let things just sort of go to waste. It was so confusing. I found you, Ed. Enjoying watching the pair of you throughout lockdown. Awesome, thanks, Simon. I'm really glad. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks to all new subscribers. I really do appreciate it. Over the last sort of probably 8-9 weeks, you know, things have gone really, really busy, and it's been amazing. It's been so great to chat to all of you in the comments. Wish you had my IT teacher could talk about running shoes after lessons. Awesome, buddy. Joe Muller, Matt, I've got to get some stuff to do. Joe, good to see you, buddy. Have a great weekend. Kev says Stourton Way is exactly a mile downhill. Maybe I could trim a few seconds off, I reckon there. Depends how much omelette I've eaten though, Kev, and how many apple-based drinks I've had probably. Joe says now moving into 6th form, so not anymore. Mr. Vanderbilt, my running buddy, moved back to the UK. Hope she'll qualify for the British team for Japan. Yeah, how's that all going to work? You see. Right, guys, I'm going to draw this one to a close right now. Please do hit that like button for me. It will help the video to get out there to more people once it goes up in terms of the recorded version. I expect some of you are probably going to head over and check out Kafuzi's live stream now. I'm going to head over in a little bit and spend a bit of time with Mrs. EDDBUD. It's great to see you all tonight in the chat. Really enjoy it. It's great to see some of your views and to hook up with you socially like this as well. It's really fantastic. Please, everybody, stay safe. Have a great weekend. Make sure you stick to all the rules wherever you are. And take care and get out there running if you can. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.